Guess what?
What?
It's boss time!
I knew you were going to say that, Mike.
Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video, we are going to look at 5 WWE superstars that Sasha Banks has been romantically linked with in real life. Sasha Banks signed with WWE in 2012 after competing for a few years on the independent circuit. She has since become one of the company's top female competitors. The 30-year-old is now a multi-time women's champion. However, Banks walked out on the May 16, 2022 edition of Raw. She is currently suspended, with several reports even suggesting that the company has released the boss from her contract. Throughout her WWE career, there have been many rumors about Banks having romantic relationships with some of her co-workers. Nevertheless, not all speculations ended up being true. Here are 5 WWE superstars that Sasha Banks has been romantically linked with in real life. Number 5. Seth freaking Rollins. After joining Vince McMahon's company, Sasha Banks developed a friendship with her colleague, Seth freaking Rollins. She and Bayley even jokingly fought over his friendship on social media in 2016. The boss' close relationship with the Visionary at the time sparked rumors about them being more than just friends. Rollins has previously praised Banks' work in WWE. Banks also revealed that the Visionary was her favorite member of The Shield. However, rumors about them having a love affair were untrue. The same year the rumors started circulating, Banks married another wrestler. Meanwhile, Rollins began dating another co-worker, Becky Lynch, 3 years later. They recently celebrated their first wedding anniversary. Number 4. Seraph Tun. While competing on the independent circuit, Sasha Banks met Seraph Tun. While working together, the two developed feelings for each other and started dating. In an interview with Charlie Caruso, Banks disclosed that her first date with Tun was disastrous. His nose was running and I was like, oh my god, your nose is running because the soup was so hot. And I think I had like a hair on my chest. And he grabbed it and I was like, dude, you are a little too forward. I don't know what I feel about you. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm just so nervous, she said. Despite their first date going wrong, the couple continued to see each other. Tun and Banks then tied the knot in 2016. They have been married for nearly 6 years now. Banks and her husband have been working together in WWE for several years. While the boss continued to perform in the ring, Tun retired from in-ring action in 2015 due to an injury he sustained while competing in a dark match on NXT. He is currently a costume designer in WWE. Number 3. Rey Mysterio. Being one of the WWE locker room leaders, Rey Mysterio has helped several younger superstars in the past few years. 2 of these wrestlers were Sasha Banks and Bayley. In an interview with the Table Talk podcast, Bayley disclosed that Mysterio made them watch his matches to prepare them for their bouts. I really love any Rey Mysterio matches. Recently, getting ready for my matches with Sasha, Rey was having us watch matches with him in Psychosis. So, I've actually watched a lot of those matches. Any Rey Mysterio match is always fun and something you can enjoy as a fan. In an interview with the Keepin' It 100 podcast, Mysterio also revealed that he would like to team up with Banks for a potential mixed match challenge. In 2021, rumors suggested that Banks and Mysterio were not just close friends but lovers. The gossip claimed that both superstars' marriages were falling apart and that Banks and her husband had already separated. However, these speculations were false. Mysterio's relationship with his wife Angie is as strong as ever. Celebrating Rey's birthday on Instagram, Angie recently called her husband the love of her life. Meanwhile, Banks and her husband are also still together. Number 2. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin. Over the past few years, Sasha Banks has had a close relationship with WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin. The two appeared together in several photos backstage. The boss was also once a guest on Austin's podcast. Last December, rumors suggested that Banks and Austin had separated from their spouses and were dating in real life. The speculations, however, were false. While the Texas Rattlesnake is seemingly still married to this fourth wife, Kristen Fears, Banks and her husband Seraph Tun have not separated. Meanwhile, Austin and Banks remain friends. She expressed her admiration for him in a tweet after he defeated Kevin Owens on the first night of WrestleMania 38. The two shared a beer backstage following the Texas Rattlesnake segment with Vince McMahon the next night. Number 1. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. In 2016, Sasha Banks teamed up with Roman Reigns to defeat Charlotte Flair and Miroslav Rusev on Monday Night Raw. While Banks and Reigns seemed to have good chemistry in the ring, the two superstars also got along well backstage. In 2017, Banks named Reigns as one of her favorite superstars. The boss also revealed in a Facebook Q in a session that she believed Reigns was hot. In an interview with Wrestling with Brandon F. Walker last year, the former SmackDown Women's Champion showered the Tribal Chief with praise. He's on a whole different level. He's on a whole different game with having Paul Heyman and having the Bloodline by his side. He's hungry to prove that he is the top dog in this business, she said. Over the past few years, a rumor claimed that Banks and Reigns have a child together from a previous relationship. However, that never happened. While Banks and her husband have not had kids yet, Reigns is a father to 5 children from his current wife, Galina Becker. Banks and Reigns' relationship seems to have been affected recently. After walking out on Raw last month, Banks unfollowed several WWE superstars on Twitter, including the Tribal Chief.